Deputy Pauline Tully.
Minister, the revelations made on Prime Time Investigates were shocking, and the collection of information, especially medical and treatment information on children, vulnerable children and their families, is despicable. I mean, none of us would like to think that our personal information shared with a professional is there for all members of a certain section in the Department of Health to see. In the first instance, no family should be required to take the state to court over the right to a proper education. And secondly, the state should not be defending these cases in court, spending millions of euros of taxpayers' money defending the indefensible. I mean, money can seemingly be found to defend the state in court, but cannot be made available to ensure that all of our children are cherished equally and to ensure that their educational needs are met. And unfortunately, families are still being forced to refer to the legal avenue to get help for their children. I think since 2018, the HSE appointed solicitors and counsel has cost the taxpayer in excess of £700,000. I think this waste of money has to stop and instead must be invested in services and in schools to provide assistance to children with needs and their families. I'm abhorred that officials in the Department of Health and the Department of Education would compile these dossiers and share this information, and none of them would question the fact that it is unethical and possibly unlawful. I mean, I'm just wondering, did individual schools participate in this practice and share confidential information about students' ability in school? And it's to compile a secret dossier on students that it has been 10 years since they actually engaged in any sort of legal action. It doesn't really just make sense. That there has been a breach of data protection rules is very possible, and I welcome the statutory inquiry that has been instigated by the Data Protection Commissioner. However, this practice is in direct contravention of several articles of the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. I mean, Article 22 in particular reads, "State parties shall protect the privacy of personal, health and rehabilitation information of persons with disabilities on an equal basis with others." Now, the government signed up to the UN CRPD 2 or 3 years ago, and this practice is in direct contravention with the Convention. But I think we need clear information on this debacle, like when did this practice begin, how many were involved, has it stopped, and if so, when? And what exactly was the expert senior council commissioned to review? I mean, what was their brief or what questions were asked? Because if you ask a question a certain way, you'll get the answer you want. I don't believe that a cross-departmental review is enough. There needs to be an independent inquiry into this issue immediately. And I think the government has a responsibility to rebuild trust in our state departments, because enough is enough, Minister. I mean, treatment of people with disabilities as second-class citizens has to end. And just to state as well, it's 2 years since my colleague Deputy Funchkin received overwhelming support for the establishment of an autism committee, and I think that's needed more than ever, and I hope that can be progressed. Thank you.